Hello everyone, my name is Tina Louise Spalding and I am a trance channel. Hello subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I put up regular videos regarding our spiritual evolution. Before I start, I'd like to mention a couple of exciting opportunities. I'm looking this way because I have a puppy on the floor. If you hear any squeaks, that's what's happening. I'm doing 2 retreats this year, one in Crete, on the island of Crete in May 7th to the 11th, and we have a few spaces left. So if you're in Europe or you fancy a trip to the Mediterranean, please consider that. You can go to my website and look under retreats and you'll see some information there. And I'm also doing my annual Salt Spring Island retreat in August 5th to 10th. It's a 5-day retreat, all inclusive, on a beautiful rural acreage on Salt Spring Island. So you can see that on my website as well. Just go to the retreats button at the top of the homepage. Okay, I'm going to do an Ananda channeling today. It's a rainy day here and I just gave my puppy a bath and she's soggy and sulking on the floor. So I might show her to you at the end of the session. Anyway, let's see what Ananda has to say. Oh, we're with you again, dear ones. As always, we thank you for clicking on this video and sharing in this teaching. We are Ananda. We are your guides and teachers. We have come here to this planet at this time through this being to assist you in your awakening process. So we bring forth information that is pertinent to your awakening process. Now, you see many videos and articles and blogs about the event, and so we want to speak to you about this societal phenomenon that is happening. Now, the societal phenomenon is the imaginings about what this event is going to look like. You have only, when you are in your ego mind, which most of you are most of the time, and that is fine. We do not judge you. We are here to help you understand how to maneuver your way through the egoic consciousness, how to use it for what it is designed for rather than letting it rule your life. So when you are in the egoic consciousness, you tend to want to judge the future by the past. So this is how the ego works. It's physically based. It's designed to help protect the body, keep the body alive, and it will do what it can to limit risk. So when you are in your ego consciousness, which, as we say, most of you are most of the time, you will, if you are given information about a particular event, if you are given information about something that might happen, the more detailed it becomes, the more agitated the ego mind will get. So if we told you that there's going to be an event on a certain day at a certain time, the ego mind, in its desire to keep you alive, would start to negotiate with its environment, your life, to try and mitigate any potential hazard. Now, that is a beneficial thing that your ego is trying to do. It's trying to keep your body alive because it is the thing that is the level of consciousness that is associated with the body. You are spiritual beings having a temporary physical experience. Spirit has much greater plans for you than the ego has. But it must work in concert with the ego because the ego is what has been put in charge in your society through your education systems, through your scientific method, through your materialistic focus. You have become obsessed with the solid world, the physical material world. And yet, the solid physical material world is the end result of the non-physical world. Your inventions, your machines, your buildings, these are all the end result of non-physical activity, imagination, creativity, love, extension of your intelligence. And yet, in your training, you have come to believe that all of the solid things are the most important. But they aren't. They are the end result. So the egoic consciousness goes to the solid world trying to find protection, literal physical protection. Can I build a basement? Can I hide behind something? What can I do physically to protect myself? Spirit, however, gets excited about the potential for transformation, because spirit is an evolving, expressive, creative, connected part of you to the greater all that is. God, if you will. We don't like to use that word because it is contaminated in your society, because it is overused in negative, dogmatic ways. But when there is any reference to a date or a time for an event, you must, as a spiritual student, be very well aware of what your ego is going to do. And it will do that without your permission. It will start to worry. Many of you will find that if you're watching events, watching videos that are purported to be about an event, that you will start to feel anxious. And that is because the ego can't get enough information to feel that it is safe. What we want you to do as spiritual seekers is that we want you to go to the spiritual part of your mind, the connected part of your mind, the timeless part of your mind, and know that no matter what happens, you will always be. Your consciousness existed before this body, and your consciousness will exist after this body. There is no death in that way that you believe it to be in your egoic mind. But of course, the ego is going to die at some point because it is associated with your body. So when you feel fear arising, what we want you to understand is that you are in your ego mind, and it's fearful because it can't protect you in a way that it feels is enough. The ego is not the way to solve any anxiety around this coming event. The way to solve anxiety about anything that is coming in the future is to become very present with your connected mind, the mind that is aligned with love, with the spiritual side of yourself. So that is how you will solve your anxiety problems. Now, our dear one here has a puppy biting her foot, so we are going to take a little break, give her a chance to let this little one out, and we will return. Sorry, this is... Okay, I'm going to bring her up. Come here. This is Delphi. She's a Bernese mountain dog, and she doesn't understand what I'm doing. But anyway, I thought you'd appreciate seeing the challenges to channeling with this on your foot. So I'm going to put her down and see if we can get back to it. Okay. We are Ananda. We are here with this being, chuckling away at her attempts to remain focused whilst the creature is gnawing on her foot. We want you to be patient too. This being has taken on a challenging job, and as all of you have taken on a challenging incarnation, we want you to think of the event as a series of escalating energies that are going to impact your planet. What are these energies? Well, they are light energies. You are made of light. You originally are of light. Light is information. If you get down to your subatomic cellular level, you are information. Your DNA is information. Your genetic structure is information, and it is alive because of light. So this is a very important process, mental, emotional process for you to go through to allay the ego's fears, to begin to say, light is good, light is information. In an evolving consciousness, extra light, adding more light, the opposite of darkness, obviously, is going to increase your frequency, and that increasing frequency will bring with it new experiences. And so that is how we want you to speak to your egoic consciousness. We want you to say to your ego, it's light, and light brings life to this place, and it brings evolution to consciousness. And in that way, the ego will begin to respond in a more logical way. It will have more information, and it will be less fearful. So you have had a lot of extra light coming your way. It has been mitigated and moderated by certain structures. Certain highly evolved beings are working with your planet to make sure that the information that's coming your way is coming in a way that you can deal with. So there has been some moderation of that information coming in. And now it is time for you all to handle it yourselves. You have had a lot of preparatory information, teachings, and spiritual help to prepare yourselves to assimilate this increasing energy. If you have not done any spiritual practice, if you've not done any forgiveness work, if you've not done any kind of intentional mental focus, prayer practice, meditation practice, these kinds of things, that has been because you have chosen not to. There is a plethora of information that has come to the surface of your planet, and you have had many years to choose whether or not to evolve your consciousness, or to medicate your consciousness, or to lower your frequency. So the seeds are sown. Those of you that are and have been very curious about consciousness evolution have done the work necessary to receive this light information. You will be thrilled. You will be expanded. You will be excited. For those of you that have done nothing, you will be a little overwhelmed. You'll be a little confused. But we want you to know that this is not a one-time event. It is, in geological terms, it will look like a line in the sand. This thing happened, and that was the before time, and that was the after time. But in your timeline, you have a lot of time, and it has been happening for a long time, decades in fact. Increasing frequencies, the escalation of the desire for evolution, these kinds of things are the expression of this increasing light on the surface of your planet. The revolution, the love revolution that is happening around the world, beings communicating through the internet, beings becoming more loving, beings having more compassion for their fellow brothers and sisters, these are all side effects of increasing frequencies as it relates to consciousness. So you are coming closer and closer to a world, despite the wars that you see, despite the pollution that you see, despite the political chaos that you see. This is the dark before the dawn. You are going to have an awakening experience that is very, very powerful over the next few years. So don't get upset, don't get focused on one particular date like 2012 or the Y2K crisis. You have experienced those kinds of things where you get given a date and it never happens, or it doesn't turn out to be what you think it is. This coming 2 or 3 years is going to see increasing energies, increasing chaos. Why chaos? Because, well, increasing frequencies cause lower frequency systems to break down because they are no longer compatible with the frequencies of your planet and of your solar system and your galaxy. So you are going to see more loving systems come into being, but the old systems have to go. So that is what is underway now. The old systems are being dismantled behind the scenes. Now, some of your systems are seemingly still operative. So you go to your elections every 4 years, you go to your economic system, your stores, your gasoline stations, these kinds of things. But there are big shifts being planned behind the scenes by beings who are working towards a more beneficent system. And so that is what we want you to focus on. We want you to focus on that which is good, that which is kind, that which is generous, that which is what you want more of. And in that focus, you will be giving energy to the system that you want more of. So stop hating on the Trumps or the Clintons or whoever it is that you despise. Stop focusing on the Nazis or the ones that are the oppressors, calling them bad, calling them awful. Start focusing on that which you love. Support the political parties and beings who are representative of what you want more of. Support your body in whatever way you can. Support your fitness in whatever way you can. Support your children in whatever way you can. Stop wasting energy on what you don't want and focus on what you do want. And in that focus, you will be demonstrating your understanding of the laws of creation, which is that what you focus on, you give energy to. What you focus on, you expand upon. What you focus on, you breathe life into. That is how creation works. If you are focusing on the negative, the fearful, the destructive, you are miscreating. And that is what is happening a lot around your world. That is what you are seeing. The end results of is beings who are trained, poorly trained, and do not understand that when they put energy into something that is hateful or unloving, whether they agree with it or not, they are breathing more and more life into it. You must understand these basic laws of creation. Stop looking at what you don't want, or if you do look at it for 5 minutes and say, that is not what I want. Now let me turn around 180 degrees and ask, what is the opposite of this? So if you are observing suffering and war, and you feel the sadness, the devastation in your heart and mind and say, this is wrong, this is unjust, turn around and ask yourself, what can you do? Can you help refugees of war? Can you bring more peace to your mind and your home? Can you do something that is the opposite of war? But if you're conflicted in your mind, that is a war zone. So do not do this work only out in the world, but do it internally first, for that is where everything comes from. Begin the lessons of A Course in Miracles. Begin to study and focus on love. Begin to train your mind into a creative device that will work for you at your behest rather than controlling you and taking you on a wild ride to places you don't want to go. So we will end this dissertation now. We want you to walk away from this video and seek something that makes you feel good. Seek something that makes you happy. Seek some news that is joyful. If you are watching any entertainments, make sure that they are inspiring, uplifting, and exciting for your heart and mind. We are Ananda. We are your guides and teachers, and we will speak to you again soon. Okay. Delphi is now heading our way. So come here, Delphi. Come here. Oh, okay. Delphi says goodbye. This is one of the reasons I haven't been doing so many videos. She's a little bit of a handful right now. No biting. Don't bite me. There's lots of people watching you now. Yeah. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. See you again soon. Bye.